Hi guys, I want to give you a screencast on posting news articles in Modex, and I've brought up the URL for the Modex manager. Canmorerealestate.com/manager is eventually what you'll have as your URL. I'm going to go ahead and log in with my username and password. You each have one of these, and I have the same permissions as you, so you should see the exact same thing that I do when you log in. Okay, so this is the manager view, which you've seen before. I'm going to drill down into a container, two containers. News is a resource, I got a resource ID of 13. Post container, it's got a resource ID of 15. We talked about this red being the red italics, meaning that this container is not published or viewable on the site. Anything that's in black will be viewable on the site. So you can see I've got about 10 or 12 articles already in here. And the easiest way to get a new one is to duplicate an old one. And so I'm going to drill down to the bottom. I'm going to right click on that sound ID resource, and then I'm going to click duplicate resource. I'll select OK. It does. I do want it to duplicate it, and now I can go in and edit and fill out information that's pertinent for this news article. What I thought I'd do is pull up your one of your old articles and just copy over some of this information. I'm going to start just selecting and copying and changing this information here. So the title, the long title, you can give a little more information, and I encourage you to add keywords that are related to Canmore real estate. Same thing with description. You want to even give more detail. The URL alias is the name of the page. No white spaces or blank spaces here. And again, use keywords. That's a good rule of thumb. So summary, I'll jump back over here, and I'm just going to pull up the first, I'm going to select and copy the first paragraph, paste that there. We want to change the menu title. Menu index controls how this is ordered here in your left frame, and we'll want to increase that so that we get the most recent ones down at the bottom. So that's something that will keep it easier. Once you get several hundred of these articles in here, you'll know that your most recent ones are at the bottom. So it's a good idea just to go ahead and save our work. So I selected save, continue editing, and then I click the save button here. And you'll notice it's red, which means it's unpublished. So one way to change that is to now click on the settings tab, click published, and it's important that we give it a published date. So you can select your published date for, say, yesterday, and save, and now that will change from red italics to black. And we can right click and preview here, and you can see that we've got our new article, which is awesome. It's copied in this information in the body of the article that we need to change, but what we can see is we've got the same slide available, we've got the same thumbnail image, and those are things we can talk about now, which I think is important. So let's go back to Modex here. By default, it's called the post banner image. This one's blank, and that's that big slide I'm talking about. This photo here, looking downtown, it's got the snow-covered mountains in the back. If we want to change that, what we can do is upload a new one of our own, and I've just created one and made sure that the dimensions are 1140 by 500 pixels. That's width by height. I'm going to drill into the hero images. I'm going to drill into news, because that's where we'll keep all of these. So I've created some folders for you to organize your files that you upload to the server. I'm going to click on upload, and I'm going to go find the image which I created for this news article. And I called it Hot Real Estate Market Slide, or hyphen slide. You'll notice it's uploading to the server. Once it's 100% complete, I can then go find it. There it is there. And I can click on it, and it will now be entered as the post banner image. Let's also grab one for the thumbnail. So I'm going to do the same process. I'm already in the news subfolder, and now I just need to find my thumbnail file on my computer, which I did, and it should also show, there it is. I've made sure that it is 262 by 147. So those are the dimensions that you'll need to create either cropping in an editor of some kind. So let's save that, and we can watch now that these images will be replaced when we refresh the page. This is great. So you can see that the image here, the slide is been replaced, and then also the thumbnail has been replaced. If we go to our news section here, you'll notice I've filtered these so that the most recent article gets dropped into the top slide, and you can see that it has this new, or this top carousel I should say, and then the slide has also been replaced. You also see down here we've got the summary, and we've got to now go back and update some of this copy and the author and the source. So let's do that now. Alright, so I'll select the full text here. One thing that you should be aware of is sometimes, so I select and copied, and then I paste it in here, and this is a WYSIWYG editor, which you see is what you get, and sometimes the formatting does get copied over, and it can be a little wonky, and you may have to correct it, but it looks pretty good for now. I'm going to save, and then let's go back to our tab and preview. I'll click into the article again, and we should get the updated copy, and it does look good. So prices, all that formatting looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's change the author and guest author. So by default, the guest author is going to supersede whatever is here. I've just added you, Brad, and Drew as the authors. If you need another one, I can add another one there too. Mark, if he needs one, let me know. Guest author, I'm going to delete here, and we'll go back and find out who the guest author was here. Michael Lau. So I would caution against, I don't know if you have permission from Michael and the Calgary Herald to post these, but it's something to think about. I would refrain from copying directly from a news website and posting to yours. It's just a piece of advice. But let's see, we'll add the guest author as Michael Lau, and then we're going to leave the external source as Calgary Herald. One thing it might be good to look at is, so if we wanted to post this with the correct date being 2003, we can change that by going back to our settings tab, and let's go choose that date back in 2000 and I think it looks like this system only stretches back to 2005. So we can probably modify this just by clicking 2003. Yeah, let's get it again. 2003, so it was 5/16/2003. Oops, I hit enter, and I think that did not save correctly. 5/16/2003. Let's see if it allows me to save that. Alright, I'm clicking back. It doesn't. It looks like by default the furthest back you can go is 2004. This should change the order now when we go back to the news. So let's refresh this page. I'm sorry, that's the article itself, but I'm going to click on news, and you can see that it no longer sits at the top. It's no longer in this carousel at the top, and it's also no longer at the top of these articles here. But if we click the page 2, you'll see it now at the bottom. So that's automatically looking at that published date and sorting it as it should. All right, so let's finish out the final fields that we have here within the resource. I've edited the resource again. We know the text is looking good. We changed the guest author. I'm going to change the category now. I'm going to choose real estate. I saved. And then we've already uploaded our images. Change frequency, I'm going to leave this at monthly. You really, If you wanted to make this a higher priority page, you would change this to something more frequent, as in weekly perhaps. Google Sitemap priority, the closer this is to 1, the more important this page is. Obviously your home page is number 1. Your blog pages can be 6.6, 0.5, that's fine. This is really for SEO purposes. You don't really see this in the page itself viewing the site. So the keywords for SEO, by default, it'll inherit whatever is in its parent. That's what this code is. So if I don't enter anything here, it's going to go back up and look at the post container. If there's nothing there, it's going to go back up and looking at the news. So by default, I put in Canmore real estate news, things like that, but we want to get more specific for each of these. So we'll call it Canmore Canmore Chalet, Canmore real estate. Anything that is related to the text of this article as a keyword will be worthwhile dropping in here. So I've just chosen about 3 or 4, and now I'm going to save, and we should preview it just for sanity's sake to make sure everything's looking good. Well, actually, I'm going to refresh this page, and we can see now Michael is the author. We've got our date. So the earliest that we can go back is 2004. If we drill down into the article itself, things are looking good. You'll notice that the author is listed at the bottom. You can view the page source, right-click, view the page source, and you'll see that there is some of this metadata. Actually, the metadata I will be adding here, and that's where your keywords will go. But really, that's it in a nutshell. How to post news articles. If you have questions, let me know, but I hope that's been useful.